Full house here. Welcome, everyone. Good to see everyone. In case of an emergency, I would ask that you exit through the rear doors out to the parking lot or to the side door out to that parking lot. I'm going to ask for 30 seconds of silent prayer, and I would ask Anthony Mazzinti from Assemblyman Burke's office to lead us in the pledge.
We ready? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Anthony. This meeting will be dedicated in memory of Robert Hyland, Andrew Boquart, Matthew Ferrantino, Margaret Graber, Norma Canan, Barbara McMullen. Madam Clerk, will you take the roll?
Supervisor Megan,
Present.
Councilman Hart,
Present.
and Councilman Hanley.
Present.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from February 25th, 2019.
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Moving on to legal notices, proof of publication and posting of a legal notice of a public hearing to consider a request to amend the restricted use permit for property located on North American Drive, lot number 3 for truck sales, maintenance, and lease of a small area for food test kitchen in the town of West Seneca. We're making a motion to amend the restricted use permit for property located on North America Drive, lot number 3 for truck sales and maintenance and lease of a small area for a food test kitchen by removing the condition that an industrial standard berm placed along the northern portion of the site from the bend in the road to the end of the property with 5 feet tall trees to create a fencing effect, and refer this matter to the planning board.
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. And you are good to go, my friend. And the town attorney, Tina Hawthorne, will be in contact with you regarding the planning board meeting for you to attend that, and the questions from the public will be addressed there. Thank you very much. Now, there's 3 seats up here if anybody wants them.
Okay, no, you're not. All right.
Okay. Next, we're going to, any public comments on communications?
Really? Yeah, we're just gonna wait a second, Mrs. Jams, because this is a part of our ceremony, so once we finish this. No, that's okay.
What we're gonna do is, we're just gonna move on with these 2 items. This first item in communication is from Chief Daniel Denz, the appointment of Gerald Fibbich to rank of detective as police officer and appoint him as a rank of detective effective Tuesday, March the 12th, 2019, at an annual salary of $92,156.38, and further authorize the supervisor to complete and sign the necessary forms with Erie County personnel.
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 2 from Chief Denz is also the appointment to terminate Anthony Serafini as police officer, appoint him as the rank of detective effective Tuesday, March the 12th, 2019, at an annual salary of $92,156.38, authorizing the supervisor to complete and sign the necessary forms with Erie County personnel.
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Both gentlemen are here tonight. If you'd like to come forward, we'd like to shake your hands. Very nice, well deserved. Now I'm going to turn this over to Chief Daniel Denz for the award ceremony for the West Seneca Police Department. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Madam Supervisor. This is always my fun night of the year. I get to recognize my staff. I'd like to wish everybody a good evening again. I'm gonna recognize some of our outstanding work done by our department during the calendar year of 2018. In 2018, the West Seneca Police Department answered a total of 21,851 calls for service. We issued 4,498 traffic summonses. We made 116 DWI arrests, 98 of which were for alcohol, 18 involved drug intoxication. We handled 1,389 vehicle crashes, 210 of those resulting in injuries to those involved, and unfortunately, we had one fatality. In addition, the department housed 324 male inmates and 87 female inmates during the course of the year. So as you can see, we're a very, very busy agency. Although all the members of my agency work hard 24/7, 365 days a year, I'm here to award a select few officers for instances that I feel were above and beyond the normal course of duty, reflected self-sacrifice, or resulted in making a difference to members of the community at large. The officers here tonight were nominated for these awards by their supervisors and selected by a committee of their peers, with final approval coming from me. So with no further ado, I will present our selected award recipients for 2018 in chronological order of the events, how they occurred. First two officers I would like to call up to the podium, Officer David Steinwandel and Officer James Gein. On February 7, 2018, at approximately 2:12 a.m., patrols were dispatched to the area 875 East and West Road for a possible structure fire. Officer Steinwandel arrived on location first, followed by Officer Gein shortly thereafter. The officers located a full-size box van parked in the driveway of 859 East and West Road and was situated extremely close to the house and the garage. There was heavy fire screaming out of the engine area, and the intense heat was starting to melt the siding on both the house and the garage. Although some of the occupants who lived there had already made their way to safety, the officers had to take quick action in order to assist the elderly homeowner out of the residence. Once everyone was out of the house and accounted for, Officer Steinwandel and Gein rushed back to their patrol vehicles and retrieved the fire extinguishers from the trunks of their police cars. They both dashed back to the fire scene and discharged each of their canisters onto the house and garage. This helped prevent further melting of the siding and curbed the potential for quicker burning of the structures. This action, in turn, bought a few minutes of precious time until the fire company arrived on scene and was able to extinguish the fire. The quick actions of Officer Steinwandel and Gein prevented what could have been a serious fate to the residents of 859 East and West Road and more extensive damage to the structures. The officers remained calm in a very hectic situation and performed their duties admirably. I commend the initiative, diligence, and decisive actions of Officer David Steinwandel and Officer James Gein, and I would like to personally acknowledge a job well done. For their actions, they will both receive letter of commendation. Next, I'd like to call up Detective Daniel Crow and Detective Jim Papasino. On February 27, 2018, patrols responded to the South Towns YMCA located at 1620 Southwestern Boulevard for a report of a grand larceny. A West Seneca Tower resident reported that while he was exercising at the facility, an unknown person had entered his secure gem locker and removed 2 credit cards along with a bank debit card. Detective Crow and Papasino were assigned to the case and met with the victim. The detective subsequently learned that one of the stolen cards had recently been used at the Apple store located at the Walden Galleria Mall in Cheektowaga. The detectives went to the store and were able to view security video through which detectives were able to identify a middle-aged white male suspect. Detectives then responded back to the YMCA and with assistance from the YMCA staff, were able to locate the suspect in their security video as well. They were also able to observe a second suspect who was involved in the caper. Additionally, the detectives were able to identify two suspect vehicles from the YMCA video, one with New Jersey plates attached to it. Armed with this information, Detectives Crow and Papasino were able to identify the prime suspect as George Paya. Additionally, detectives learned that Paya had been involved in numerous larcenies throughout the entire state of New York. Detectives Crow and Papasino joined up with several other law enforcement agencies and the Erie County District Attorney's Office and formed a multi-jurisdictional task force to effect the arrest and prosecution of suspect George Paya. The suspect was eventually convicted and sentenced to a term of 2 to 6 years in incarceration in state prison. The work put forth by Detective Crow and Papasino in this case exemplify their work ethic and tenacity. Additionally, both detectives have an excellent working relationship with surrounding agencies and the District Attorney's Office. This is the second time in recent history that the YMCA has been victimized by a multi-jurisdictional criminal organization, and Detectives Crow and Papasino have been able to secure successful prosecutions in both cases. For their work on this latest case, each will receive a letter of commendation. Okay, next I'm going to call up a whole group of people. I'd like to start with Lieutenant James Unger. Back again with Officers David Steinwandel and Jim Guillen. Also like to invite to the podium Officer Adam Schnitzer, Officer Michael Kochaniski, and Senior Public Safety Dispatcher Mark Polkowski, along with his wife Janice. You guys could come up. On May 31st, 2018, at approximately 4 a.m., patrols were dispatched to a Lydecker Road residence for a report of a 59-year-old female down and unresponsive. Officer Steinwandel arrived on location within minutes to discover the woman lying on the floor with her husband performing CPR on her. Almost simultaneously, Lieutenant Unger and Officer Guillen entered the scene. Officer Steinwandel immediately took over chest compressions portion of the CPR task from the victim's husband. While Lieutenant Unger began administering rescue breaths using a bag valve rescue mask, and Officer Jim Guillen secured an AED to the victim's chest. CPR was continued for approximately 5 minutes, at which time Officer Schnitzer would arrive on scene, jump in to relieve Steinwandel, and continue administering chest compression. For the next 30 minutes, the officers worked in tandem, rotating positions, continuously performing CPR, and shocked the victim 2 times with the AED. These officers kept pouring and did not yield until the victim regained a pulse and began breathing on her own. All the officers then assisted the AMR ambulance crew with loading the victim into the ambulance and escorted it to South Buffalo Mercy Hospital, where she was stabilized in a minute. She was eventually transferred to the ICU unit and made a full recovery. The caveat to this whole story is that the husband in this case is none other than our very own Senior Public Safety Dispatcher Mark Polkowski, and the victim is his wife Janice, who stands here before you. While Mark was not working at the time of the incident, his immediate recognition of the situation and quick action in administering CPR was essential to Janice being here with us today. We come to work every day prepared to help others. It's a whole different ballgame when it happens under your own roof. I'm sure this was an extremely stressful and emotional event for Mark, but he was able to maintain a calm demeanor and put his professional skills to work when he needed it most. I would like to personally acknowledge a job well done by all, especially Mark. For their actions, they will all receive the department's life-saving award. Okay, next I'd like to call up Officer Matt Craigbaum, please. On July 2nd, 2018, Officer Craigbaum was working patrol on the day shift. He was dispatched to the Union Square Apartments at 2341 Union Road on a report of a witness cardiac arrest. Officer Craigbaum arrived within 3 minutes to find the victim unresponsive with no pulse and not breathing. Officer Craigbaum immediately started CPR chest compressions and attached an AED to the victim. No shock was advised at that time, and Officer Craigbaum continued to administer life-saving CPR techniques until relieved by the AMR paramedics. The AMR ambulance medic supervisor stated that Officer Craigbaum's immediate life-saving measures definitely resulted in the patient surviving and allowed him time to get advanced medical care. We followed up several months later, and the victim is still alive and doing extremely well. Because of his professional application of life-saving first aid measures and his calm demeanor through the call, Officer Matthew Craigbaum is receiving the department's life-saving award. Next, I'd like to call Detective Donald Driscoll to the podium. In the early morning hours of August 14, 2018, patrols responded to a grand larceny report at 2323 Clinton Street. During the overnight hours, an unknown suspect or suspects had broken into a tractor trailer parked in the lot at that location and stole several brand new refrigerators from the trailer. Due to the weather conditions and the condition of the trailer, no physical evidence such as fingerprints or DNA could be recovered. Detective Driscoll was assigned to the case and immediately went to work trying to obtain witnesses or video evidence of the crime. Video surveillance evidence from the scene revealed that a U-Haul truck had entered the lot at 2323 Clinton during the overnight hours, but the actual removal of the items from the tractor trailer was not captured on video. Additionally, no identifying marks on the U-Haul, license plates, or suspects could be identified from the video. Detective Driscoll made contact with the local U-Haul rental centers and began collecting information on any short-term rentals for any trucks matching the size of the suspected U-Haul. Additionally, he did a search for any plate reader hits on U-Haul trucks in the area for the dates in question. Detective Driscoll's efforts were soon rewarded as he was able to obtain a plate hit on a U-Haul truck which was parked at 197 Weimer Street in the city of Buffalo during the dates of the crime. He further checked this information against the rental information he had received from U-Haul and discovered that the vehicle in question had been rented for only 2 days and had only been driven 20 hours. Armed with this information and additional video evidence, Detective Driscoll developed a suspect by the name of Keith Wilson. A search warrant was drafted and executed at the Weimer Street address on September 19th. This resulted in the recovery of 2 of the stolen refrigerators. It was discovered that those refrigerators had been defaced in order to conceal them and to impede the recovery. As a result of this investigation, Mr. Wilson was charged with grand larceny third and a felony criminal mischief charge. These charges are still being adjudicated through the court system, but we anticipate a very positive outcome. At the onset of this case, Detective Driscoll had very few solvability factors that could easily close this as unresolved. His extra efforts and hard work paid off with successful recovery of stolen property and a solid arrest. For his unrelenting determination, Detective Donald Driscoll will receive a letter of commendation. Okay, next officer I'd like to call up, Officer Paul Daly. On December 22nd, 2018, at 6:57 p.m., officers were dispatched to a robbery that had just occurred at the Subway restaurant located at 1900 Ridge Road. There was information quickly gathered that the robbery was committed by a Hispanic male wearing a gray jacket over a dark hoodie. The suspect had jumped over the counter and used a knife in the course of the robbery, causing serious lacerations to a male Subway employee. He then fled the restaurant on foot with a charity donation jar and another Subway employee's purse. While officers were searching the surrounding area, Officer Daly went to Big Lots and inquired if any persons matching the suspect's description had entered the store recently. While speaking with a Big Lots employee, he observed a male by the front door of the vestibule matching the robbery suspect's description. He was working as a Salvation Army donation attendant. Bell ringer. Right? Officer Daly approached the male and asked him if he knew anything about the robbery. The male replied in Spanish, "No habla inglés." Not a good move on his part, because Officer Daly, being fluent in Spanish, began to question the male in Spanish. When the suspect began to act nervous, Officer Daly asked to see his hands, and the subject abruptly reached into his waistband. When Officer Daly tried to stop him, the subject began to throw punches and violently fought with Officer Daly. Officer Daly was able to deploy his taser and eventually handcuff the subject in order to place him under arrest. The knife used in the robbery, along with the stolen purse, was found in the subject's backpack, which he was wearing at the time. The subject was charged with robbery in the first degree, assault in the second degree, along with numerous other charges. For the outstanding individual actions taken here by Officer Paul Daly to bring this violent subject to justice, he will receive the department's letter combination with corresponding uniform pin. Okay, I have one final award to hand out. I'd like to call up Public Safety Dispatcher William Coghlan, please. Good, Bill. How are you doing tonight? Good to see you. The Chief's Award is given at the discretion of the Chief of Police and is designated to recognize a person who has not been selected for any one outstanding incident, but has amassed a body of work or has conducted themselves in a manner worthy of commendation. This award is not only limited to police officers, but may include an ancillary employee or citizen determined by the Chief of Police as worthy of recognition by the department. The recipient this year of the 2018 Chiefs Award goes to Public Safety Dispatcher Bill Coghlan. Bill started his career as a part-time dispatcher with the West Seneca Police Department in July of 1995 and achieved full-time status January 12, 1999. Over the past 23-plus years of service, PSD Coghlan has proven to be a valuable asset to the police department, quietly coming to work and putting forth 100% in everything he does. Bill is a self-taught expert in computers and computer networking, delving headfirst into that field just as it was becoming prevalent in the law enforcement profession. He has made operational suggestions for improvements to hardware components and software programs and finds cutting-edge technologies which are regularly implemented to enhance departmental functions. PSD Coghlan was and is instrumental in the creation and maintenance of the West Seneca Police Department's website and social media platforms. He is constantly assisting everyone on his shift with computer issues and just recently created a computer PDF file giving the patrol officers a better way to submit police reports to our records staff. When an officer is attempting to obtain information on a suspect, Bill has the ability to conduct searches and come up with information not readily available, thereby increasing patrol efficiency and, more importantly, officer safety. Dispatcher Coughlin has also done extensive work with our Detective Bureau, volunteering to consolidate numerous cold case files from large volumes of paper reports and hard copy photographs into organized digital files, which can now be easily reviewed for information and have data inserted as the cases continue to progress over time. In addition to his superior dispatching skills and computer prowess, Dispatcher Coughlin is a pioneer in the unmanned aerial aviation field. Bill has been creating, building, and flying his own drones for years. He has assisted the West Seneca Police Department countless times with his custom drones long before they were prevalent technology in law enforcement. His drones with mounted infrared cameras have been used at night to locate burglary suspects and to fly over and locate teen party spots. He has even flown his graphs to assist in locating marijuana grow operations. Bill has maneuvered on structure fires and has attempted to locate missing persons with them. Bill's expertise was instrumental when the police department was creating its own aerial aviation unit. As one of the original members of that unit, Coughlin has proven to be an invaluable resource in selecting what to purchase, how to fly, and wading through the complex system of FAA regulations. Bill has a true love and dedication for the West Seneca Police Department, and throughout his time as a public safety dispatcher, has proven to be extremely capable, dependable, and professional. He often volunteers to work on projects on his own time and at his own expense without ever expecting fanfare or notoriety. Bill is often seen taking pictures at department events or gladly assisting the event organizers with whatever is asked of him. Some of the photos taken or acquired through research by PSC Coughlin can be seen hanging on the walls of the police department. He will regularly go to the West Seneca Historical Society studying the history of the police department, along with the many unusual or unsolved cases which have occurred throughout the town's history. If one was to ask any member of the police department, they would have a story of a time when Bill has helped them out. Bill is truly worthy of receiving this award. I would like to express my sincerest appreciation for his continued dedication and service to the West Seneca Police Department, and I'm looking forward to working closely with him as we progress into the future. You're welcome. This will conclude our awards ceremony for this evening. I appreciate everybody's attention. I'd like to thank the men and women of the West Seneca Police Department for their great continued work, and I'm proud to stand by you every day I come into work. So thank you very much, and back to our regularly scheduled program. And thanks to the board for the opportunity to do this once again.
Our pleasure.
We'll just give the group to have the opportunity to exit the room, and then we will start the board meeting. And then Mrs. Kim's, you're on. How's that? See? Chief, I want to take this opportunity and thank you. Great job, buddy. Truly, you run a beautiful department, and you should be feeling really good about all your hard work. It's paying off. Okay, Mrs. Kims, if you wanna come up, that would be wonderful.
Sorry about that, I thought you asked for comments earlier.
I did,
Okay.
and then
I was just like,
can we just hold off, just till we finish this award ceremony, so I apologize for that.
Okay. Can I go ahead?
oh, yes, please do.
Okay, item number 1 under communications, the lease agreement with Mr. Tilson, with the Tilson Technology. I was wondering, who owns the property it would be located on? Why we didn't have a copy of the agreement attached to this agenda? Was this in front of the zoning board? And why was only one neighborhood picked for these benefits?
I'm gonna let the town attorney answer most of that, but this neighborhood was picked by Verizon.
Verizon or the Tilson Technology?
Verizon chose it, and they subcontracted with him, but it's for the broadband increase, but Tina, you can answer the rest.
Can you repeat your first question?
Who owns the property that it's going on?
The town of West Seneca. And the agreement was not with it because we didn't have it at that point in time. We do now. It will be posted online tomorrow.
So it'll be posted after it's been voted on?
It's here tonight if anybody wants to review it.
Okay, I checked this afternoon to see if I could print that out.
Right, it was received via FedEx today.
Did this go in front of the zoning board at all? Did this require?
No, it does not require it.
And, why, do you know why they picked just one neighborhood or this particular neighborhood to, give this benefit of broadband?
Well, I think at the last meeting he spoke to that, and I don't want to misspeak, but I think when he was here and he presented on the project, he indicated that there was a need in that neighborhood for increased, what's that? Coverage, yes, that there had been anticipated coverage issues in that area.
And that had been, something that Verizon had put out there, because that's not what they said when I contacted them.
Okay, well, I don't know, who you're talking to, but that was what they said here at the board meeting.
Okay, and that was, the gentleman who told me that was there.
Yes, that's correct, and I do not have any information to believe that he wasn't being truthful.
Okay,
Well, before you move on, if you wanted to hear why the zoning board is not required, Mr. Bassett can answer that for you.
So basically, when we talk about cell communications and antennas, generally they go on towers, or they go on, in water towers, or an actual communication tower. For a communication tower, you need a special use permit. For an antenna to go on a water tower, you just simply need a structural, prints and a permit. So there's no variance required for satellite, cell tower stuff, anything like that. It would normally be a special use permit. However, in this instance, what the equipment that it is being mounted to is basically a telephone pole. I believe it's not higher than 30 feet, roughly in that area. The equipment is very small. If you looked at the communications that were online, it did show some pictures of what you're looking at, and it showed it in correspondence to structures and houses and a garage and a car, to kind of give you an idea of the size of it. So this is just something that we still have to have we have to have a meeting with them to figure out how we're gonna write permits for this, because we kind of have to make a new category for it. So it's ready to go forward with our department with permits once they're ready with the town, and it wouldn't need any other special meetings.
in the past, when Verizon has put up towers or, attached to existing towers, they've advertised in the classifieds, in the newspapers previous to, approaching any board with it. That was not done in this case, I'm wondering why.
Well, the first word that you said was towers. And like I said, that,
Or attachment to towers.
no attachment to towers, it depends. If the towers were already designed with special use to have antennas, there are permits that we do that are change of antennas, or we have a permit for an a user on an existing tower or on a user on an existing structure other than a communication tower. Those are already all written out in our permit stuff, and they go right to permits, except for the tower itself receives a special use permit. So they may have listed it to say that they're putting the work or changing something, maybe they had some legal reason to have to do it, but it wasn't from the town.
Going on to item number 2, under communications, bid date for phase 5 sanitary sewer rehab project. I was wondering, I had thought that maybe we might get a little bit further explanation. I had been here for the work session on this, but there are people here in the audience that were not here for the work session. And there really is not a lot of information provided on this, so I didn't know if someone further explained it tonight.
What is your question, Mrs. James?
Well, just exactly what you're doing, what you're doing with this, when you're saying under communications, bid date for phase 5 sanitation sewer rehab project, if there's no information beyond that.
So I'll take it a little bit. So we're under DEC consent order to repair, replace, fix, stop the leaks from getting in all of our sewers. Phase 1 through 4 has already been completed. We're started phase 5. The engineering part has already been done. Now we're gonna start doing the actual work. This is the Seneca Street project, Seneca Street from Main to Transit and all the subdivisions. The subdivision today was defined as any of the sewers that run into Seneca Street. Not every side street, but just the subdivisions that run into the Seneca
You
Street.
know the district that we're talking about.
It's sewer district 13, I believe is what he said today.
So, and that's the only thing I was looking for was clarification because it wasn't there on the agenda.
Correct, and I believe it was also stated that all of that money is refundable. Once the work is done, the funds are refundable back to West Seneca, I believe.
Okay, item number 5, Nicholas, I don't know how to say his last name. And he's being moved into the highway as mechanic, and I'm wondering, is that a replacement, is that?
Yes, Dana and Rajewski last meeting, he was a mechanic.
Mhm.
Dana was promoted to foreman. Nick will replace Dana as mechanic.
And does Nick have any background in?
Oh, yes, he's been doing a fellow mechanic for the last couple of years for us.
In that generally, I mean, you would bring someone into that position that has a background, correct?
Yes.
So that's also part of it. It's a slingshot effect that goes all the way back to when Greg Zimmerman retired. So every month somebody moves up. This is just part of that process.
Yeah, I was just more concerned that we'd have someone working on our vehicles that did not have training in mechanics. Item number 8, the school district use of facilities. Didn't state what facilities, where, when, why, or how long.
It does state on page 6 under Exhibit C, use of town of West Seneca softball diamonds, baseball diamonds, soccer fields, tennis courts, basketball courts, and cross-country for the West Seneca Central School District, athletic sporting events, games, practices, scrimmages, etc. during the 2019 spring season that will most likely only be specifically for their track and diamond use.
Sorry, when I printed my note, that wasn't there.
That's okay, thank you.
And that's all I have for right now, thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Kim. Does anyone else have anything, comments on the agenda items?
So just to follow up on Sue Kim's question about number 5, is Nicholas, Mr. Ruza, I'm sure is a fine person, does he have ASE certification?
No, not yet.
No, he doesn't. Has he finished any automotive technology training
Yeah,
at BOCES or
No.
at,
I don't believe so.
is this a civil service position?
No, it's not a test position.
Don't you think someone that comes into this position should be trained and be a mechanic and have the appropriate certifications? Maybe have gone through a 2-year training at Alfred or at ECC or something like that?
he's been doing that for the last couple of years with our mechanics. He's been working side by side with our mechanics in the shop. By the union, I can't bring anybody in off the street. It's a closed shop. So it's the most qualified gentleman that's available for the position.
And he's been in how long in the full-time position in sanitation?
Nick's probably been there 7, 8 years.
Well, full-time, what, 4, I think.
4? No, he's I don't know.
Well, the town board in like 2016, I believe.
Oh, yeah, so he's been full-time with the town for 4 years?
So you say the process is that this position was offered to everybody above him,
Correct,
regardless of their qualifications.
correct. What happens is, the
Now,
job.
is that a great way to run a mechanic shop, is to offer people who may or may not be,
Well,
well, maybe you're lucky that you got this guy, because everybody above him refused it, I mean, I don't know.
No, what happens is the job goes up for bid, and I take the most qualified person, they all hand in a resume.
Mhm.
We look at it, I look at it along with my foreman, with Doug Blanchard, our chief mechanic, we take the most qualified person for the job.
Would you prefer that you be able to bid out for, that
No.
you'll open it up to other people? I'm guessing at $25 an hour, you could probably get some people who already have these certifications. Mechanics.
I couldn't tell you that, but I don't think so, most mechanics make about $50 an hour.
That's not what I get, no.
Well, I know the guy that I think my car does,
Well, maybe his firm charges that,
well,
but he doesn't get that, right? And he certainly doesn't get the benefit,
sure,
right? But,
if you understand the contract, that's how it has to be done.
right, what I'm asking is, don't you think it'd be better if we could hire mechanics who are already trained?
No, because I think that Dougie does a great job of doing an on-the-job training.
Okay.
I don't know the background of a lot of guys coming in. I know the background of Nick Bugliazza, how hard a worker he is, and how he, and I know that he'll do things with it Dougie would let me done.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening. Beverly Lacing. I want to compliment Mr. English on his work ethics thus far, but I am a little disturbed with the tone because he asked for an extension. The date of this letter is January 1st, 2019. He's asking that his motor operation, be included through January 1st, 2020. First of all, there seems to be a lack of communication from January 1st to today.
Beverly, that's my fault. I'll take the hit on that. Usually I put it in every January 1st, and I did not put it in this year. And actually Supervisor Regan came to me and said, hey, do you know that you never put in your extension? So I'll take the hit for that.
Okay, because being a common person, I'm just looking at this and I know that the board has always said we do our due diligence not to prolong this.
No, you're right, but I forgot about it, I didn't do it. Sheila Meehan came to me last week and said, hey, you never did a extension for your leave of absence. I said, I put it in next week.
What are your benefits with this extension, sir?
Just if anything ever happens, I can go back into the workforce.
You get any paid vacation or sick time for this one day?
No, for going in, for that.
For being extended?
No, it only extends me to the 31st.
Not
So-
according to this, it says to include January 1st, 2000.
I can go back in the workforce, January 1st.
You do not get any benefits with the union for being in this thing to extend you to January 1st?
I get the medical, I don't get vacation, I don't get personal days, I don't get sick days. No, I don't get anything.
Okay, 'cause that's what,
No, I don't.
I didn't understand what this implied. I understand in the previous
Sure.
years, because you can't be a supervisor and also a motor equipment
Correct.
operator. I
Correct.
understand the conflict
Yeah.
there. But I didn't understand if there were any benefits, because we need to cut services wherever we can, and I would be against you getting any bonuses for one day.
No, I do not get anything when I'm the highway superintendent.
Thank you very much.
Is there anyone further? Okay, we're gonna move on to item number 1. From the town attorney, Tilson Technology addressed the board on February meeting regarding the request to install a wireless cell tower, small cell on a wooden utility pole behind Constitution Avenue Pump Station. Therefore, we need to have a lease agreement with the town, given that the plans of the cell will be on town property and the lease rental will be $200 per month. Therefore, let it be resolved that the board hereby authorizes the town supervisor to enter into a lease with Verizon Wireless, as well as any associated utility easements for Verizon to construct and operate a wireless telecommunication facility and related infrastructure on property contingent upon the passage of permissive referendum, period required under law, a petition for permissive referendum for initial term of 5 years, up to 4 years for renewal, 5 years, for renewal, at an annual rent of $22,400, as such other terms and conditions as agreed upon with the town of West Seneca and Verizon Wireless. And further be resolved that the town clerk is authorized and directed to publish the notice of such permissive referendum within 10 days from the date here in accordance with Article number 7 of the New York State law. In a witness, therefore, this resolution was properly adopted by the board at its regularly scheduled meeting, the date of March the 11th, 2019.
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Also, the resolution for the town board for the town of West Seneca for the State Environmental Quality Review Act, seeker determination of environmental significance and negative declaration hereas. Reasons for supporting this negative declaration are air, water, noise, waste, erosion, drainage, site disturbance effects. The project will not create any adverse change to its existing air quality, water quality, or noise level, nor soil waste production, nor potential for erosion, nor will it promote flooding or drainage problem. The project will produce minimal, if any, disturbance of soil vegetation with minimal storm runoff. Further, the board finds that none of the criteria for determining significance set forth in section 617.7C1I- will be implicated as a result of this project. Notice of the determination of non-significance shall be filed to the extent required by the applicant and applicable regulations under seeker, and as many be deemed advisable by the board. Therefore, resolved that the property adopted by the board and its regularly scheduled board meeting of March the 11th, 2018.
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 2 is from the engineering department. Steve Tanner, town engineer, please authorize the town clerk to advertise for bidding for Phase 5 sewer improvements to the town's sanitary sewer system. The Phase 5 area includes portions of Seneca Street from Main to Transit, as well as a portion of Transit and some small subdivisions that branch off Seneca Street. Drawings and specifications would be made available starting March the 12th, and we request a bid opening date of April 2nd at 10 a.m. The Phase 5 sewer improvements will be paid in part by the Water Infrastructure Grant, Water Quality Improvement Grants, with the remainder of the funding coming from a portion of the town's 2012 remaining sewer bond money. The Phase 5 sewer area is required to be completed by the end of 2019 to satisfy the New York State DEC review and comments on this project.
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 3 is from Matthew English. Kindly authorize Brian Cummins to attend the 2019 10th Annual CSEA Peer Training Refresher Training from April 23rd, to April 25th, 2019. He will make use of the Union Safety Health Leave Time, which is paid at his normal rate. Travel expenses will be paid with CSCA.
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 4 is also from Matthew English. Please accept my request for an extension of leave of absence from my blue-collar position as motor equipment operator through and including January 1st, 2020.
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 5 is also from Matthew English. Please terminate Nicholas Guzlia as sanitation laborer and appoint him as highway mechanic group 5, step 3 at a rate of $25.47 per hour, and authorize the supervisor to sign the necessary forms with Erie County personnel.
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. And item number 6 is from Matthew English. Please terminate James Depler as a part-time sanitation laborer. Appoint him full-time sanitation laborer at a rate of $20.03 per hour effective March 11th, and authorize the supervisor to sign the necessary forms with Erie County personnel.
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
I believe both gentlemen are here this evening. Want to stand up? Just Depler? Very nice, Mr. Depler. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You work long and hard as a sanitation part-time. It's incredible, the job that you were able to do, and you stuck it out, so that means you get the job.
How many years did you work at minimum wage, part-time, with no benefits?
Like 3.5, 4.
3.5?
Yeah,
Thank you for sticking it out.
yes, thank you.
Thank you very much for sticking out. It's one cold, and then in the summer, it's, ugh. Anyways, great job. Thank you so much, and congratulations to all the hard-working coworkers that you have in sanitation. Thank you, Matthew, too. Moving on, item number 7 is from Lauren Massett. Kindly move to appoint Gary Ursing as part-time recreation attendant, $12 an hour effective March 12th, 2019, contingent upon a background check, drug test, proof of physical as outlined by town code, and authorize the supervisor to complete and sign the necessary forms with Erie County personnel.
Second.
Anything on the question?
Yeah, I have a question, just, I talked to Lauren. Lauren, how are we doing with the application process? Are we doing good?
We are not in an ideal situation for summer hiring. We have received less than half a dozen applications for new hires. For returning staff, the canvassing deadline was last week. We believe that currently about 50 to 60% of the staff will return from last season. That is about average. As they graduate college, they do move on. Between camp and the pool, we're looking to fill about 65 to 70 part-time positions. This does not include open positions for the CCL youth gym programming. We are having open interviews at the end of March. This information is on our website and social media accounts, and I can provide you with an update sometime in April.
Thank you. Just, well, I know we say it at every meeting, but if you know anybody, the people in the audience, if you have any friends that are looking for a part-time job for the summer, now's the time to apply.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 8 is also from Lauren Massett. Please allow the supervisor to execute the necessary documents to enter into an agreement with West Seneca Central School District, located at 675 Potter Road, West Seneca, New York, for the use of the town of West Seneca owned athletic facilities for the spring of 2019.
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item 9 is also from Lauren Massett, our recreation supervisor. Please allow the supervisor to execute the necessary documents to enter into an agreement with the insured West Seneca Lions Club to host and hold their annual summer concert series and celebrate summer event at the Lions Band Shop in 2019.
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. I just want to thank the Lions Club for this continued event every summer. People look so forward to it. I will tell you, in 2-3 weeks, people will be coming in and asking for the calendar of events for the band.
And there's a lot of people in the community that donate to this, that funds these concerts. And I especially want to thank, right at the moment, her name is at a loss, but the owner of McDonald's, who sponsors more than half of this program. Great people. And they also provided the coffee, which was much needed, for our St. Patrick's Day party, which was held Saturday night.
How was that?
We needed the coffee.
Good to know. Okay, thank you so much. I'm just gonna receive the report from Jacqueline Felser, our town clerk, for the receiver of taxes report for February 2019, and for Jeffrey Sheeber, code enforcement officer, building and plumbing reports for February 2019.
Second.
I'd also, anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Make an approval for the warrant?
Second.
Anything on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Right, tonight, I'm not sure if anybody saw it, but we had the Girl Scouts here, and they're raising funds, and this is the week of the Girl Scouts. And there's a place where girls can explore, discover, and just be themselves for venturing outdoors, experimenting with science, saving a park, or developing new skills. Girl Scouting prepares girls for a lifetime of leadership. The highest award you can get in the Girl Scout is the Gold Award. The Gold Award is the most prestigious award in the world for girls, and it's the most difficult to earn. And tonight had a conversation with all these young women and raising girls to be happy, healthy, and successful. And it should be noted that Emily Nelsky, who is my chief of staff, received the Gold Award. Sorry, Emily, I have to.
Like 15 years
That's an
ago.
incredible accomplishment. So, and then the next thing, speaking of women, it's the International Women's Month, and although every day the year is filled with the good works of women around the world, I just wanted to take this opportunity to acknowledge the following. Since coming into office, I've had the honor, privilege of working with extremely bright, kind, independent, and accomplished women. Town Clerk Jacqueline Felser, Senior Director Mary Josephak, Rec Director Lauren Massett, Town Assessor Candy Whitman. We have the largest number of female officers serving in our police department. We have Town Prosecutor Kim Kennedy, Town Justice Shannon Filbert, who was our first town prosecutor, Town Attorney Tina Hawthorne, who was our second town prosecutor, Finance Director Megan Wennick, Human Resource Director Lauren Devine, and my Chief of Staff Emily Nelsky. It should be noted that these positions historically have been held by men. So let's again acknowledge all the good and appreciate all their hard work and never-ending commitment to the town. And I am so grateful for the opportunity to work alongside each of you, and for that I am grateful. All right, so I'm going to ask anyone, and Emily Baker too. You are an inspiration to so many children. Now she works in the school districts and willing to share her time, so. Anyone from the public that has any comments, please feel free to come up. Shocker.
I have a question. On February 7th, we had a problem with the creek, and the ice had backed up, and the sewer line had broke. And it took out some land, and it took out the pipe, and it took out some of the golf course. I wondered if we had a total for what that cost the town.
We do not, so that was asked today, but no, there's no total, the numbers haven't come in yet.
And I'm embarrassed to say this, the union contracts, have they all been finalized and updated and put online? Because I haven't checked that.
I think, all my markers, yeah,
So I had, thank you.
that's it.
Okay, well, have a good night. Anyone further?
So, I was listening to the, the heroic deeds of the police officers, and I want to make sure I heard something correct. On the incident at Lydecker Road, I thought I heard that the police did CPR for 30 minutes before the AMR took over.
It was a team effort for 30 minutes. That's what was required, yes.
But when did AMR show up?
I'm not quite clear on that.
Okay. And then the same with the other life-saving incident. The police got there first and were doing it, and then the AMR showed up. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. So, I mean, I remember a number of months ago there was a discussion about the police carrying Narcan. And if I recall correctly, and please correct me if I'm wrong, one of the reasons that was given for our department not carrying Narcan was because AMR gets there before, or the fire department perhaps, before us or at the same time as us. So so they're always there, so they administer the Narcan.
That is normally correct, yes.
So, but there are, as it seems, these two instances, two data points where that wasn't the case, and it's possible the person, if it had been an overdose, might have died before AMR got there. Of course, I mean, anything's possible, I know.
I mean, that's all speculative.
Right. But the fact is, police got there and were performing life-saving activities before AMR got there.
Do we do that? Yes.
Okay.
That's what you want us to do, correct?
No, absolutely, but, so maybe you should have Narcan.
Right now, our model is working.
Okay.
As far as the Narcan goes, we have halved every year our overdoses in town. So we've only had 5 so far this year,
Okay.
and 0 deaths. So our model is working.
Okay. So 6 months ago, there was a lot of discussion about trees falling down on Lydecker Road, and I think we also talked about fire pits being a nuisance. And then a few months later, I asked, what's the status, but I believe there was discussion that there would be public hearings to have new ordinances on both of those issues. So I'm just wondering what the status is.
I believe, no, I'll speak for the trees, because I know we're with Jeff on this. Jeff Sheber is taking the lead role in this. I believe that they have sent, the last where I talked to Jeff is he had sent the homeowner a letter, telling him that the trees need to be taken.
That's correct, and that homeowner has lawyered up, so now it turns into a legal issue, probably outside of our scope. Now the lawyer's working.
Right, but at that meeting, there was discussion that the town code needed to be upgraded to give us more authority to deal with those kind of situations. And then when I asked a few months ago, I was told that it was being prepared, a draft ordinance or code.
Correct, I believe the tree ordinance is up to date right now. I believe it's the way it should be, the way we said we were gonna make the changes happen.
So that's 6 months ago, so it's saying it's 6 months ago.
No, I think
So there was a vote sometime to change the code.
no, I think that it was always there, and there was 2 codes at the one time. We were looking at 2 different codes.
So the code 6 months ago was sufficient?
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
thank you. And the fire pit issue. We were told at that meeting 6 months ago that this was a DEC issue, but we should have our own so that we can enforce nuisance fire pits.
That's correct. We haven't done anything with the fire pit ordinance.
I'm not so sure about that. Let me check on it because I think Mr. Fens either had drafted it or did draft it and was following through on that. But I'm happy to follow up and see with the transition between he and I where that is.
Okay.
I can speak to that as well as that, a draft was written and sent over, so I think at this point, it may just be a matter of the changing of town attorneys and getting caught up.
Okay, all right. And just to follow up, just so that I'm clear, or we're clear about what Beverly was asking about, so, Mr. English, so, having the date of your extension being December 31st or January 1st has absolutely no effect on accruing any kind of benefits or any kind of vacation?
No, none at all. I don't get nothing on my own.
No, but that one day, you won't be superintendent, you'll be back.
I would go back into the workforce.
Right.
And I would start being able to accrue again,
Right.
like I did.
So being on the job for that one day, does that give you any additional benefits for your retirement if you would retire, say, the next day?
No, it would give me my, what I already have accrual, I would get.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to, they accrue, the highway department accruals their sick days by the month.
Okay.
So if I worked the whole month of January and retired, yes, I would get a day and a half or a day, whatever. So that's how it would go. I don't get,
And that applies to vacation too?
yes.
Okay, so working that one day is no benefit as far as vacation,
No.
more vacation? Okay.
My accruals are froze. The day I became highway superintendent, my accruals are froze right there. So whatever I have for sick time, for the last 10 years, I didn't get no accruals for sick time.
So having that one day doesn't give you like you get it back or anything like that?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Just a few comments on the public hearing that was held a few weeks or a few days ago. Could we have had better weather? Yes, we could have, because I fell in the parking lot trying to get over the snowbanks when I left here from the public meeting. Thank God there were people there to help me get up. But I think that if we're going to have another public hearing, maybe we should have it someplace where it is plowed better or at a larger capacity for the people that were here. I don't think we had enough room. And I'm a little nervous with these chairs. I'm afraid I'm gonna go to get up and they're gonna slide out behind me. I'm just mentioning these things because I think this is an accident waiting to happen. I don't think there's enough handicap spots when the library is in session, and they seem to be in session until 9 o'clock at night, most of the times when we have town board meetings. So therefore, people using the library and also coming to the town board meetings do not have enough access to the handicap parking facilities. After saying that, I'd like to know, we had 2 gentlemen volunteer to help scrutinize the reconstruction, or at least the cause or solutions on the Birchfield. Is a committee formed for that, or?
Well, actually, Beverly, thank you for saying that, because we are gonna put it on the website for anyone interested in participating in a Birchfield committee. But the town board has not had the opportunity, because it hasn't even been a week yet.
Right, I understand that.
We're going to, get together, sooner than later and go through it. Those parties that have offered their services, we've had a lot of offers. So, that being said, once we've come to that, decision as far as giving all that information that we gather to the committee for the Birchfield, and then but hopefully somebody within that committee will take the leadership role in that and come back and give us, their opinion.
Okay, can I ask the lawyer a question? I understand one of the gentlemen who was a construction man, forgot what his name is.
Bill Bauer.
Bill Bauer. He offered to come along and help this other gentleman, I don't know what his name was either. And I was sitting in an area where there were people that are much more politically correct than I am, and they were commenting that this man can't do this because he's running for office. What the heck does that mean? That if somebody's laying on the floor and I'm a nurse, I can't perform CPR because I'm running for office? I don't understand that. I don't understand that.
That's not true.
That would be-
I'm not aware of anything that would bar him from volunteering his services or time, simply because he's a candidate.
Okay, I just didn't think it was fair, and
It's not fair, Beverly, and keep in mind, he has been a part of this community for his whole life.
well, I
And,
thought it
yeah,
was great that he volunteered, and then I
It
heard
is.
these
Well,
fools,
Well, and before
criticizing
he
him.
was a candidate, he went over to Birchfield and gave some initial assessments, I believe, so.
He did, and when we did Lexington Green underwater, him and Bobby Hill of Union Concrete came in with all their equipment, did not charge the town for that. We got those bags to fill up and make the berm, and himself and several of his own staff went out there in the bitter freezing cold and took care of that berm. We only had to pay for the bags, which were about $100,000, with the same kind of bags they use to the perimeter of like Afghanistan and Iraq. And Bobby Hill and him brought in their own, all the crushed stone to fill up those bags. That's the kind of guy he is.
Well, I don't know anything about the man, I just know that it didn't seem to me that it was a conflict of interest, and I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't.
No, there's just, it's
Thank you.
unfortunate that there's so much, unfortunate.
Anyone further? I know. No. All right, well, then, Chief Dennis, do you have anything for us?
I said this afternoon, just a reminder that starting Thursday night, park back on the streets, March 15th, parking ban is off. However, I'm sure my counterpart sitting next to me would like it if you would stay off the street if we had a heavy snowfall. Correct.
You would hope common sense would prevail, but Then again.
and stuff.
Matthew English, do you have anything for us?
No, I have nothing,
Thank you, Matthew. Jeff Pasca, do you have anything for us?
nothing tonight.
Jacqueline Felser, Town Clerk, do you have anything for us? Councilman Hanley, do you have anything for us?
I appreciate the chief recognizing his men. It's one of my favorite parts of being sitting up here watching all of those guys receive the rewards that they deserve.
What's Seneca's finest? Lauren Massett, do you have anything for us?
No, thank you, Supervisor.
What?
I said enough this afternoon.
Tina Hawthorne, Town Attorney, do you have anything for us?
Nothing further.
Hey, Councilman Hart, do you have anything for us?
Yeah, just one quick comment. You know, I appreciate our police department and all their fine work and professionalism, but what sometimes flies under the radar, we had that flood 3 weeks ago now, and not only were our policemen there, actually, I was with them in Birchfield Park when the water came through, and our policemen stepped up and we got several people out of there. But what goes under the radar is the town highway employees, the buildings and grounds employees, and the work that they do, and actually help a lot with the, in this case, we didn't have to do a lot of rescuing like we did with the Lexington Green, but their hard work sometimes goes unnoticed. And I want to thank them for everything they did in controlling the traffic, evacuating the buildings on Ray Street, going around and assisting National Fuel Gas and the electric company in shutting down all the electrical services to these different apartments, and just doing one heck of a job. They did all the prep work. We did a lot of planning before the flooding, and I think that a lot of that work mitigated the flood to some degree. We did not get any water in Lexington Green, thank goodness. But our men, our sewer department, our highwaymen, our buildings and grounds crews were there, they were ready. We were pre-staged, and we were able to mitigate the damages that we could have had from that flooding. And I want to thank them. And Matt, I'd like you to extend that to your men.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jean. Okay, Emily, do you have anything?
Just the budget thing is finished on Friday, the budget
Oh, yeah,
advisory
anyone
committee.
interested in joining the Budget Advisory Committee? Friday is the last day, so if you're interested, by all means, send your letter of request. Also, the recycling, when is that happening, Marte? Do we have that?
He's getting the documents printed out. I think he agreed on, I wanna say it was March 30th was?
Okay, we'll put that on the website.
He went between 3 dates, so we're gonna put it on the website once he solidifies both. The one is April 27th, but there's one in March that
Okay,
he's going
so
back
our
and
next
forth
board
on.
meeting is March 25th, so we're in good shape. All right, other than that, for all those great men and women who have served our country and continue to serve, we thank you. And I bid you all a great evening, drive safe, and we'll see you on the 25th.
Is it March 30th?